Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be tackling another couple of episodes of Girls Band Cry. Very excited to be jumping back in here with the girls. Love seeing the girls on we're doing it early this week because I'm going away this weekend. We're doing it on a Thursday, so it feels like it hasn't been that long since I've even watched the show. But yeah, we're back. Diving straight in here, we have the YouTube comments, courtesy of the patrons. Thank you, patrons, for all that you do, as well as the correspondence here. If you are a patron, you can do this as well if you feel like it. And yeah, I'm probably going to try to group these two comments together because they're mostly about the same thing, which is the grandma stuff, which I talked about last week, which I was unsure about. We'll get into it. But yeah, starting here, we have the first comment from Iria, which kind of goes into the part of my thing about Girls Band Cry. I was saying that we're lacking a bit of drive compared to its peers, an overall goal per se, but again, in that way, that lack of an overall goal is also a pretty direct choice and matches with the kind of temperament and the themes of the characters, I would say. So again, you know, you take what you get, I guess. And I will agree with this. It does feel very different and feels grounded. The kind of contemporaries that I was referencing, right? Even something like a Hibike Euphonium, I don't think that feels broadly plot-wise very realistic. I just don't. I think individual kind of interactions do. I think there's a lot to be gleaned from that perspective on the show, but yeah, it doesn't feel as real as this, I would say. And definitely not Love Live. Love Live is absolutely farcical, and I like it for that as well. Again, it feels a lot like a show where things are happening. It's not a story being told, per se. Does that make any sense? Like, stories have specific structures and specific things that happen at specific points to get from A to B. Compared to Flip Flappers, which I just finished yesterday, actually, which felt very clinical during its kind of final episodes of getting to certain points and hitting those certain points and moving on from there. This feels very different. You have characters learning something and then potentially sometimes double backing on it as well. And again, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I think it fits and I think it's unique. The jury's still out on if it overall clicks into a good story by the very end. Good dynamics, realistic character emotions, without abandoning the playfulness and comedy. I think Subaru is definitely winning in that regard. She's carrying that kind of element of the show. And yeah, specifically highlighting this word human. It feels more human as a show as opposed to, again, its peers, which feel anime-ified. You know, we can respect that. And again, kind of befitting of this very realistic 3D animation style, there's almost less of a barrier for me to kind of imagine these characters as real. Does that make any sense? There's less of a kind of leap logically that I need to make there for these people to seem like they're real people. You know, I don't know if I'm talking shit there, but there may be something between 3D and 2D in that regard, I would say. So now we have Iria again and Pencil Sharp both going into their viewpoints on the kind of grandma moment and the decisions made there plot-wise, right? I think there's some pretty interesting stuff here, some stuff I probably didn't consider. I still think it's overall weird. It's definitely, as we say here, a subversive, potentially, structure for an episode, which, again, we like that word. It's one of my favorite words, actually, when I see something's kind of subversive like that. Yeah, because normally, again, you have this trope of the ultra-sincere and open, energetic protagonist solving problems for other members of the cast. I wouldn't say that, and again, I don't think Nina falls into that role, per se. So seeing her kind of fail at that and not quite be that person, I think is very interesting. So I guess I should set up what it's subverting, right? So normally you would have side character has problem, goes to protagonist says some bullshit, there's umming and ahhing back and forth, blah, 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 but they eventually agree with the protagonist and kind of, you know, it's normally a good moral there for the person, and you know, it adds to the kind of leadership structure of that particular protagonist as well. You've seen it a million times before, I'm sure. But it's almost like an Uno reverse. Instead, Nina self-reflects upon hearing both the perspective of Subaru and the grandma and goes, hey, actually, no, just keep it as it is, at least for now. We're pushing it down the line, as I keep saying, because eventually there's going to be something there because she's not going to want to pursue acting after this band takes off or whatever, right? But also Subaru needs to do it in her own way, on her own terms. And again, the Nina didn't understand the complexity of the situation initially. And again, as we say up here with Pencil Sharp, that Super Saiyan effect, as I keep saying, right? That red, that's associated with her family trauma and her family forcing her into specific situations, right? Isn't she just somebody else forcing Subaru into a very specific situation? And again, getting that Una reverse, seeing the mirror to that, and realizing what she's doing, and needing to talk some sense into Subaru, talk her out of this kind of forceful moment, so to say. She's also projecting. She wants to make a strong break away from her family and do all this kind of stuff, right? Just because I want to do that as Nina doesn't mean that Subaru needs to do that in her particular situation. We may be similar in some aspects, but not completely the same, right? We don't have the same family situation. They may be bad to me for certain reasons, but that doesn't mean that grandma's bad to Subaru as a result, you know? Iria also has the kind of theory that grandma realized everything, which I don't really see. I kind of rewatched the scene. I don't think that she does. But again, I could be wrong in that regard as well. And again, that really cathartic scene for Subaru by the very end of it as well, kind of pushed into then out of telling the grandma what's going on, and then also having Momoko over there who isn't really fucking helpful at all. She's just kind of like, I know everything, but I'm not going to say anything. Which again, kind of speaks to her side of the character, which is explored in episode 5 a little bit more as well. So yeah, I understand that a little bit better now. I still, again, I'm not against dialogue in the show explaining this to me. That would be great. I wouldn't be against that at all. So yeah, I don't know. It was quick as well, which didn't help its case. I didn't really have much time to reflect on it within the episode. I don't know. Odd one. To round us out here, we also have a little bit of some subbing issues stuff with the official release versus Sobs Please. It was the translation of the shirts, specifically, again, that in combination with some of this kind of raise your voice, what to raise kind of stuff. You know, it's a little bit more cohesive in their version specifically, right? So yeah, probably some preferable translations there, but overall I don't think that the Crunchyroll sub has been all that bad, and we'll continue to use it, I think. Also, I don't know what these are. Thank you, YouTube, for your fucking AI bullshit. Thank you. That's awesome. Anyway, I digress. Moving swiftly onwards, let's give those patrons a shout out and we'll set the scene. As always, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead with the uploads, you can check out the Patreon. You'll also get double votes in any polls that may be upcoming on the channel, say a girls band cry replacement, or again, if you're watching this on Patreon, there should be a poll for something else, for Flip Flappers replacement, so keep an eye out. Again, at your leisure, check that kind of stuff out. Many people have done that, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Troz++, Akomancer, Bananarama Hamadama Summer, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Ika, Iria, Yako Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lou, Master Detective, Max, Mistake L. Chen, Mr. Maniacs, Need, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ronlad B&K, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Fueko, Without a Net, Yuankai Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binchi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, and Ron Tiki. Thank you all for giving me money and so forth. I enjoy your support. I never know what to say. I'm just kind of winging it, if you didn't know. Anyway, setting the scene. We just had a performance at the Live House. We have learnt the information that the new kind of vocalist of Diamond Dust is an old acquaintance of Nina, who was, at least didn't help when she was bullied, right? And her kind of abandoning her was kind of part of the downward spiral of Nina at that school and led her to make the decisions that she's making here and now. Again, her comfort song was that old Diamond Dust song vocalized by Momoko, right? So seeing somebody that didn't support her in that time now singing those songs that are so important to her is obviously like worldview shattering. It fucking sucks for her. On top of that as well, we have Momoko opening up a little bit more about her time with Diamond Dust and how close they were as a group and how much this kind of separation from them has hurt her. Again, she was being very guarded with that, and we kind of took down that by the end of episode 5. Noticeably as well, we had those two side characters that were like in the restaurant or whatever, that are joining the band pretty evidently and pretty soon. They watched that performance in episode 5 and they're like, that seems pretty swell, so I think they're going to join us now. But again, I've been saying that for weeks now. I would like to see these characters if you didn't know. So I would imagine that that live show performance went well. Again, you had that extra buzz because it's an ex-Diamond Dust member. Does that potentially get Diamond Dust to take notice? Do we start to clash a little bit more as a group as a result? Potentially. Or was that a little bit later down the line? are we going to get more opportunities because of what we did in the episode just then? Maybe. Almost certainly, I would say. But either way, the only way to find out is to watch the episodes, and yeah, I'll go get up episodes 6 and 7 of Girls Band Crime. Discord if you want to talk to me about the show, and like and subscribe right now, or I'll bomb your house. You'll die. So, do that. Anyway, episode 6 of Girls Band Cry coming right up. Radio, episode 6, up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 57 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I'm using the Crunchyroll subs. I'm pretty sure it's like Eri Raws or something. So again, should be very similar to the official stuff that's out there. There will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure as well. Either way, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Every time, it's so loud. Which I guess is better than the opposite. Hello, Toei. Toei? Indeed. Okay. These two. What? It's too cold in here. Okay, she's in the stew. Yeah, is that the like bootleg soundproofing? That's great. Oh, and turning off the AC, of course, as well. Yep, great. Oh, Vocaloid, sure. Little lizard. I'm taking the trash out. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Because Benny Shoga is like their group, right? They had a fair few followers. They're going alright. But it seems like there was like stickers over that photo, which seems like it's kind of like a Diamond Dust type situation again. There was a split. So we're kind of bringing these kind of disparate members that have like been in bands before kind of vibe to like this band, which is cool. And again, I know of Vocaloid, but I didn't know how it works. So do you do like... Do you sing and then you put it under it? I thought it just kind of worked. I thought you plugged some stuff in and then it just kind of went. But again, I'm just kind of ignorant in that regard. It's probably something I should look up. It'd be nice to have some actual like music producer type people on top of Momika as well. Because she's good and all, but the more people and the more ideas, the better, right? These two seem experienced. Hymn of the Stray. Doesn't sound much better. Is the sauna good for your throat? I mean, I'll believe you, sure. Why are you sore? Ah, yeah, I guess you're kicking the drum, true. And 20 minutes set, that's no joke. I like the name. Shoutouts Persona. Also, Nina's dying. Send help. What? Roku. Is that what she means by obsessed with it? Like obsessed with the audience reaction? But I don't think you still want to be the old band. I don't want to be Diamond Dust 2 or Old Diamond Dust. I want to be a new thing. We're getting there. 500 is pretty good. We'll take 500. Thanks, Mum. Budokan, come on. Cute. Yeah, what do you want to do? You're just kind of vibing. I would agree. Fantastic. Yeah, she's hit the nail on the head there. She's very intense. Get her drunk? That seems to be working. I think that's part of it. Not the agency. What an odd thing to Google. Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, start door knocking. Get some resumes out there. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are. You need to get the product in front of people. Kinda. Social media presence. Get it done. Why'd it go down? I shouldn't sound surprised. Sometimes my number goes down too, and it stresses me out. I like that. Okay. Well, you're going to be there too. Come on now. You can be the sassy one. Oh, wait, they're all the sassy one. Why is she wearing a hat inside? Get a grip. Oh, for social media stuff. Kawaii? Wow. I would agree. That's the thing I was going to bring up. Oh. Scam? She's only like 21. Settle down. That's what I was going to bring up as well. Just sell out. Sell out hard. Because I'm a hater. I'm a #1 hater. Well, I do. Do you guys ever practice? I thought she was playing the piano in the restaurant. I was like, that's impressive. Oh, this is cute. Come on. Oh, words resonating. Oh yeah, they have followers on social media too. Nice to meet you as well. Bit late in the piece. Tomo? Come on. Scouter. You. I had a great time. I saw it. But we thought the music was good. Why not? So we wanted to work at Burger King instead. Been very quiet, Tomo. Finally, Lizard. Thought the show broke there for a second. See, it's a goal in social media stuff. She doesn't know. What, Budokan? Or Sendai? Oh, no, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's sick. Everyone wants to go play here. Yeah, kinda. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'll continue to say it. What? Yeah. Yeah, if you're just honest with her. What? I'd never do that. Yeah, too far, too quick. Okay. Continue. Yeah. And? Yeah, keep looking at that photo. So we've got to put on our A game. Days later. Pressure's on. Time of the episode. Yeah. Oh, do you know the show? Uh, 3 times. Well, wouldn't she have seen the episode that Subaru's in? No, I don't think I will. Stop trying to gas it up. Oh yeah, she already did the piano for that. Momika? What's going on? She's alright. Okay. Look, it's rainbow sound this time. Looks like the opening. Also, how realistic is it that a group of people could come together and play like this immediately? Maybe. Again, I'm no musician. Nina loves it though. Okay. Okay. Very honest. Hmm. Oh, in theory, yeah. Oh. Same place. Momika's still got some stuff going on, pretty evidently. Trepidation. I like that kind of half, she went through half the strings of the guitar. Again, it's showing off this side of her personality. When she's in it and she's loving it, but then she's out of it, she comes to her senses, she goes, what am I doing? You know, I've already done this once. It didn't end well. What's different now? All that other stuff. Yeah, again, half measures. She's not fully committed. And again, like what I was saying in the start of the video as well, I like that the show didn't just like have that first episode with Momika and then everything's fine. She's completely on board. No conflict about that from here. No, of course we're going to readdress it. It's pretty important that she's going back and doing this again now, you know? I don't know. And yeah, it seems like much like the structure I have been doing, we're going to end next episode with a performance again at the festival. That'd make sense to me. And directly comparing us to Diamond Dust in Momika's mind as well, directly comparing this band with her former band as well, that was so very precious to her. Wow. It's called Riding, folks. It's pretty good. Also, Tomo's a blast. I love her. Oh, great. And yeah, I think we'll just dive straight into episode 7. I can't see any reason why not. Let's go. Radio, episode 7. Up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 57 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy, using the Crunchyroll stuff. Should be a picture-in-picture in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. And again, Crunchyroll, just stop making it so loud. Why? What's the purpose? Why would you do such a thing? Anyway. Where are we? Set the scene for me. Band t-shirts. Merch. Gear. I would agree. You thought that merch was going to... Anyway. Yeah. Momaka, thoughts? Well, she's very popular. Hokago tea time. Keisoku Bando? Lots of good names. So my thing is like, are they called Girls Band Cry? Because that's like a pretty cool band name. I don't mind that at all. Very direct and to the point about what they're about as well. We're girls, we're in a band. Hey, sometimes we're crying. I don't know, although it's going to be something else entirely. I think I'm ready to say that the opening rips. It's pretty good. It's growing on me a lot. I've thought for a while I should do a video about like my favorite openings or something. It could be fun. It's just kind of a side thing while I'm on holidays, maybe. I don't know. Let me know. Mm-hmm. Oh, road trip. I've kind of given up on that, if I'm honest. Okay, a little side excursion type thing. And yeah, find out a band name as we're going too. Shin Kawasaki's a decent name too. I like it. Diamond Dust or two. A little bit. Well, you guys play music here. You're probably bothering the neighbors all the time. We need some kind of unifying experience. I was going to say fried egg, because that's what I had for breakfast. Chocolate? It's a little bit nerdy. Is it Dream Girl or something? Yeah, that one's pretty embarrassing too. They had a punch on. Jesus. Just name it some stupid bullshit. Not really. Would like some of your input, actually. Oh. 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 Donuts, though. Nope. Uh, kinda. Sometimes money. That's very honest. I thought you'd try to hide it. She's been very honest. I like this. So you're kind of checking on her like that too. Yeah, but interesting. I see. Yeah. I mean, what you're doing is very admirable in comparison. Alright, she seems pretty level headed. What you got in there? Okay. I'm a very light packer. I won't bring much at all. What? Okay, so you've never driven a manual? Are you allowed to do that without a license in... Anyway. Yeah, installs it. The good old bad driver trope. Love it. I'm just scared. How far away is it? I'll get the map out again. Interesting. I don't know if I would. I don't know if anybody would describe themselves as having a lot of friends. Oh, Ripper's nice. Shoutouts. I see. I understand. Bit of car sickness or something, I'm guessing. Yeah? Got anything? Because I did too. Oh. It's a really interesting reaction. Yeah, but I get the feeling that you don't... What? Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. You're very different to those two. Group picture. Look like you like each other. Come on. There we go. Classic. Where'd you guys sleep? Did you guys sleep in the car? Hope not. Who the hell are you? Okay. She the promoter or something? Will be better. Sick. Sure, I guess we don't really have a choice. Yeah, just play some shit. Join in, you get some harmonization going, it'll be good. Okay, seems like it's kind of being thrust upon us, but we'll do it. Mine? Yeah, I was going to say, what? Did you think that this would be the best time to tell us? Okay, bye. Guess we fucking lost, chat. We're over here at the kids' table. Well, yeah. We can be real with this person, I think. It becomes less coincidental, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty clear lack of eye contact, which is normally a pretty big indicator. Are they just standing over there while we're having this fucking deep and meaningful over here? Ah! Groin jump scare. She's a mess. You guys will figure it out. Alright, she's loving it apparently. Eureka! And of course, that I decided scene is twofold, you would think, because we're going to see a band name here. Ooh. Itchy nose. Come on. Spit it out. Most certainly is. What are we, a comedy act? The drums are sick. Yeah. Gotcha. It's very hard to get a read on this show. I'll keep saying it. It's very, very, very difficult. Um, sure, I guess I'll let it all come out in the wash. Episodic TV is structured to the point where episodes will bring up something and then close that loop by the end of that episode. Generally, right? That's kind of what it means to sit down once a week and look at it. More and more and more with this, it just seems like I'm watching 20 minutes of a movie and then 20 more minutes of a movie and then 20 more minutes of a movie, right? Nothing ever really ever gets solved. It's just pushed further down the line and reappears later on, right? So again, Momoka, that's clearly been bubbling away for ages now. So I'm like, okay, when are we going to readdress the Momoka stuff? When are we going to do this? She seems really distant and weird and she's not joining us on all these like activities and stuff, and she's off on her own and she's like pondering and stuff. When is that going to, come to fruition? When is there going to be content about that? Until out of nowhere, bang, I'm going to leave the band. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what this episode's about now, which is we're going to have to convince her not to leave the band now. But this is just step one in doing so, right? Again, as I said, that kind of fireworks scene is twofold, right? Where it's both I've decided on the name of the band in concept, but it's also I've decided on what I want to do. I've decided on how committed I am to this thing, and I'm no longer going halfway and doing half measures with stuff. I'm actually going to have a go here. And again, I like the idea of going out on stage and stages where you can be your true self, and that being when she just randomly picks the name of the band on a whim, because again, the name doesn't matter, it's what we represent, and it's the statement after the song that's more important there. I think that's all pretty strong. But again, I'm grasping for something like we bring up something and then we close that by the end. We had the band name thing. I thought that closed itself quite well. But yeah, just constantly it just seems like Momoka's just kind of out of it. And I just kind of wish we would address it and move on, so to say. Which again, maybe is a little bit simplistic. Either way, we'll have another look here and we'll go back through. But yeah, just a very hard set of episodes to get invested in emotionally. Even the new character stuff seems all very quick and in the background right now. All the emotional stakes there. Yeah, it's just a weird one. It's a weird show. Well, yeah, but again, we'll have another look here. And we're back. Girls Band Cry, episodes 6 and 7 in the book. Behind the scenes stuff, I've been away for the past couple days. I've been on holidays, so I'm coming back to this episode, or these two episodes now, with a little bit of a fresh perspective, I guess, having, again, not thought about the show for the past couple days. And yeah, I guess having that time away has softened my opinion on it somewhat. I came in a little bit strong, well, not strongly negative, but questioning a lot of things from the session before. And I think what we can say about the show now is that it's not going to fall into tropes. And if you think continuously it's going to fall into tropes, it is going to surprise you. I'll say for the show, you cannot tick off things as done. Just because somebody feels one way one episode doesn't mean they won't double back another episode and feel a different way about it. We're not following rote episodic storytelling like that, and trying to fit episodes into conventional structures like that is probably not advisable. Again, do I respect the genre and the general, episodic structures that it goes for based on that? Yeah. Does that mean that this is bad because it doesn't have that kind of stuff? No. And again, I think it kind of lets it stand out from its contemporaries, I would say. So again, overall story-wise, we've still got Momoko feeling that kind of way about this new band and all that kind of stuff, and thinking if she can fully commit. You'll see across these two episodes we'll rewatch here and now, she's increasingly distant. You'll see the four girls, once kind of the other two join along, you'll see them together collaborating a lot, and you'll see Momoko off to the side. I was like, are we going to address that at all? As it turns out, we do. But we're also combining that with Nina becoming more and more committed to the group overall. So that's kind of two characters going in an inverse direction. You've got one being more committed to the group, whilst one is slowly pulling away further. Will Nina's enthusiasm and the rest of the group, by proxy, kind of draw Momoko back in? Are we going to do that kind of storyline with it? And in the process of doing so, addressing some of the Diamond Dust stuff and the baggage there for both the characters. I think that would be wise. Either way, I think the best way to jump back in is to just jump back in total. And again, we're going to meet those two new characters all over again and see what makes them tick, as well as, again, that conflict I mentioned about Momoko and Nina and so forth. First and foremost, shoutouts to this opening scene. I just think it's glorious. It's our first genuine introduction, I would say, to Rupa and Tomo, which is our two new characters here. They're recording in their bedroom. They've kind of gone and seen the girls live, as we saw in the end of episode 5. And yeah, trying to lay down their additions to the song, essentially auditioning for this band that they think could use their help. Now, the really charming stuff here, obviously, is this kind of stuff. The soundproofing box that they have. Turn off the AC for this moment as we do this. And yeah, just the fun face on it and so forth. Nina uses this as a prop later on. It's all just very fun. This is also our introduction to the Rupa and Tomo dynamic. Rupa, being the older one, broadly a little bit more protective, obviously wanting to give Tomo that push, who is again your pretty prototypical bratty kind of tsundere-esque character, doesn't always say what they mean. She wants to be involved further here, and you're trying to facilitate that. Again, also very skillful with the Vocaloid stuff, which I did end up looking up. It's not really... It's you use the computer program to make the voice. Does that make any sense? Yeah, which is what I thought it was. But again, it's a good way to, if you're writing music, to get a bass line for what you think a vocal line would be, and then you get a singer to come through and do it. Again, I keep talking about girls band Cry and the band in general, now that we have a name for them as well, by the way, which I'm forgetting, Toge or something. What was I going to say? What was my point? It's the channeling of all the emotions. So it's important that we have two extra characters here that have a similar motivation. They want to make it as a band. They have past trauma, specifically you, that they want to channel into some art. And again, using Nina to do that, and that kind of being this uniting feeling for the group, is still a good thing. The band so far is also... They're struggling with a goal. If we pop over here, the whole thing is like, okay, so what's next? What are we even doing? That kind of thing, right? Inexplicable bath scene, aside. The let's go to Budokan thing is obviously part of that, right? These two extra elements to the band kind of replace what we don't have, After the opening, we pan back to the main girls. You could say that the thesis of this scene would be that they're just in recovery. It's like a sports tournament or something, right? You've got a sore leg based on, again, the drumming, so you'd be kicking that kick drum a whole bunch, and Nina's got a very low voice because it's very sore. Again, Momoko less sore, seasoned pro, that kind of stuff. I'm happy we brought this up as well. You're using a fake name? Player is what we're going with, which is a, pretty dorky old name. And we're kind of making fun of her for that. And again, really embracing that kind of player personality when she's playing the drums. Maybe that's part of it too. Again, she's borderline famous. There's a chance that somebody could see her and be like, hey, that's you were also in the thing, and that you're the granddaughter of the blank, and that, again, it could make her whole thing fall apart. There's a small scene just at the end of the sauna scene there where Momoko kind of says that, Nina's really into this, and then Subaru questions if that's a problem. Again, we can kind of see where this kind of stuff's going as well. I was thinking this was more in the place of like you being obsessed with social media interaction and reactions to your show and so forth. Yeah, this here's a really interesting scene because the social media reaction to the show is kind of using that basis that the show is, again, starring a former member of Diamond Dust, right? So you have these disillusioned Diamond Dust fans that they've now gone mainstream and pro and less rock. So you have a reluctance to position us marketing-wise as that alternative to Diamond Dust, right? Again, based off you don't want to like shit talk your friends essentially, but also you want to build back up on your own. You don't want to use their name to do it as well. So it's this really weird thing where you don't want to be mean, but you also kind of want to be mean by not using their name in the process as well. Yeah, it's a really interesting look for Momoko, right? And again, that then forms into, okay, well, if we're not going to do that, then what are our goals? What are we trying to do? And then it's like, well, you want to do college, right? What are you talking about goals for this thing? And again, that from there turns into one of the major kind of storylines this episode. Yeah, I just think knowing what we know now, seeing this kind of stuff working very early is pretty cool. And yeah, character placement here important as well. Subaru landing on the side of Nina, jumping in the middle here. I would like to know our goal as well. Again, stopping you from dropping the conversation and forcing you to engage. Subaru and Nina are off on their own after that conversation, and Nina's broadly pretty frustrated with Momoko and her lack of a goal, right? It feels like, again, she's not taking this super seriously against us two, who really want this thing, even if we're not admitting it to ourselves yet. Subaru rebuts here that, again, you're somewhat of a charging bull. You rush right into a serious conversation without easing somebody into it, right? And again, you scare them off as a result. You have the matador over here who's just kind of swiping past whatever you're trying to bring up as a conversation topic. And again, really fun visual metaphor for that as well. Show's got a lot going on visually for it. I think this is a point of difference to a lot of band shows that I've watched, is that these characters are out of high school. And that's very important. So again, I'm going to talk about K-On! Again because I'm good at talking about K-On! A huge part of K-On! Is them not even taking a step back and thinking about what they're doing till almost the very end of the show. And again, if you know, you know. We're taking a big step back and being self-critical and self-aware very early in this show, I'd say, as a band. So they're like, okay, we're like adults now. So like, what is it that we're doing? How are we going to make this work? And I guess, okay, the characters are similar ages, but they're out of school. They're not currently attending a high school, I would say. So again, and the characters grappling with this is probably something I've never seen before, actually trying to make it and figure it out and so forth. Pretty cool. And again, it's very hard to talk about Momoko, about this big picture stuff when you scare her away, but hey, Nina, what do you even want out of this as well? And again, that kind of admits of what she wants by the very end of, by the middle of episode 7. I think that's pretty good. And again, we're panning the conversation here over to the other two who are overhearing this conversation as well. Should we jump in and tell them what we think? This conversation kind of spurs on Nina to actually have some genuine thought about her future, about how she's going to make it pro. If I see Diamond Dust over here, and specifically my connection with Diamond Dust, and think, how am I going to attain that? Let's take some logical steps to doing so. Let's go see this guy. Even though I don't like him, he would be knowledgeable on it, and we drop some kind of lore about how this kind of shit normally works. Again, back in the day, promoters and getting scouted from shows was a lot more important. Nowadays, a lot of it's online. Again, that kind of focus implicitly on the number of followers this episode as well, kind of from Diamond Dust to Benny Shorga to the girls to whatever else is going on, you know? So I think it's very interesting seeing, like, hey, we've got one band over here which has one thing that these girls want, and then we have another band over here that has something that the other girls want. You guys represent kind of that extra glue for the band, as well as a social media presence, right? You're exactly what they don't have right now and represent what they need. This is also represented musically by adding this little piano line into the song that already exists. Sounds fantastic, right? Seems like a perfect mix of these two disparate groups to come together, you know? I do like how much of the story that this picture tells, I guess. Again, this has been a goal for a long time, and we backfill a little bit later on. You've left school much like Nina as well. Let's go to Budokan, right? And again, you can't sit here in your own little shell having just me next to you if you're actually genuine about this goal. It's absurd if you think you're going to get there without additional help beyond my services, you know? So Rupa is here giving Tomo the little push that she needs to go and actually ask this band if they need a hand. And again, you're scared from an emotional standpoint. I'm imagining we're going to get more backstory from you at some point as well. You're scared that you're not going to gel together well as friends to become a good band. That's what Rupa's talking about there as well. She's like, just because you're good friends doesn't mean you'd be a good band. Just because you're bad friends doesn't mean you'll be a bad band. Again, it's about channeling a certain feeling together despite us being the best of mates. You know what I mean? Again, some of that conflict between all the characters as well is what gives the best bands, again, throughout history, some of that charge that make them as good as they are. We jump back over to the other girls who are practicing. Shoutouts to this outfit, which is quite frankly absurd. I haven't seen camo pants like that in a decade? A long time. Anyway, I like the outfit. It's cool. We have Nina over here, again, broadly concerned about social media stuff. I'm thinking about doing cuter outfits next time for our next performance, as well as leveraging the cute potential of our cutest member over here with Subaru to, again, get some likes and follows. And again, the very obvious point of discussion here is if we gravitate towards that kind of stuff, how similar are we becoming to Diamond Dust? Are we missing our unique potential? Are we, again, I think the girls are of the general opinion, I think at least you, that the Diamond Dust now has sold out and aren't as good. So are we just going to go down that path? And again, that was what Momoko was kind of a stick in the mud on, at least, you know, supposedly, right? There was more about mainstream popularity than actual musicianship. Like, is that what you're worried about now? Again, trying to thread that needle between being kind of making a living on this and being complete sellouts and not making good art. And then again, obviously, Momoko gets really prickly about it. This is literally the discussion that she had with her old band that led to them going away. So you're just like, bottle that up, don't talk about it, what are you even talking about? Gets immediately on the defensive about it. And again, we kind of finished that scene with Momoko and Nina really butting heads on that topic. Again, you're the most stubborn person on the planet and you really don't want to lose. And you keep telling that to Momoko as well. You're like, hey, I'm really serious about this. Remember that line that inspired you in the first episode? I really believed it. How about you? And again, showing that she's taking it seriously. And again, we see these four characters here, and Momoko keeps drifting and drifting further and further away from the band as this episode goes on, and the next. Also, again, in a really cool way, they're talking about how, again, the major themes of the show, not wanting to lose, not giving in, being stubborn, all those kind of things. That's what kind of gives Tomo here the indicator to go over and give that business card, right? Again, like, what's the specific line? I hated admitting defeat and giving up from the start because we're not wrong, and again, that being that uniting emotion for the band overall, I would say. And again, very important that Rupert wasn't the one that had to come over and give the business card. Again, it was Tomo on her own kind of volition that did it. After the ad break, a really fun scene ensues where the two kind of groups try to get to know each other, right? And again, we've got Tomo over here that's broadly pretty, you know, unsociable, I would say. And then these two are that just confused as to what they're even trying to get at. Do you guys want to fight, complain, or want? What's the go? And I think we're making like an anime reference. They said something about a power level and a scouto, which is like scouter. What does the scouter say? And anyway, you guys know where I'm coming from there, I think. Pretty funny. So then the question becomes, obviously, hey, why us? You guys are bigger. You guys have a few agencies that are already kind of trying to pull you in certain ways and that kind of thing, right? You guys could make it if you wanted to make it, but again, don't want to go mainstream. Again, that kind of major character conflict that's over this side as well. You guys are kind of resonating with that as well. It turns out the reason that Tomo and Rupa wanted to, you know, get with these girls and that kind of thing, right, it's because they were real. They wanted to voice their own opinions. Their music didn't seem compromised by somebody else. And again, that's something that appealed to them compared to everybody else that's supposedly a little bit more fake. And again, that's where a lot of the emotional power of the performances and that kind of thing comes through, right? Because you're giving it your all and because you're show yourself in these performances, these girls can see that, they resonate with that realness and want to join the group as a result as well. Again, that is your point of difference. That's what's going to take you far in the show, you channeling these real emotions into things. We saw it at the end of episode 7 as well. Upon that revelation that Momika is leaving, you wanted to put your best into the next performance and that kind of thing, right? And double down on what you think is right. If we have genuine feelings we want to get across as these two, albeit their backstories are pretty short at the moment, if we have genuine feelings we want to convey them through you because we know that they will come across genuinely. Does that make any sense? We don't want to waste our time on somebody that isn't going to do that. And again, that's the basis of art and the basis of rock and roll in a lot of ways as well. So I think that's really good. That's what I'm seeing here on this kind of second watch through. Subaru quickly scouts out the picture that says that they want to go along to Budokan as well, want to perform there. And again, you're attracted to a big, ambitious goal at the moment. That's kind of what you guys are lacking. So now we see the mutual benefit for either group here to combine. You guys have the goal, we have the realness that you want to channel your music through. Now, Budokan is a thing. It's like, I don't know, it's an arena. It's very important to a lot of idol culture stuff. Performing at Budokan is very important. I'd imagine it's in Tokyo, so again, you got that kind of big Tokyo, big city, I've made it vibe to it as well. Again, if you'd watched a couple of these shows, you know what they're talking about there. But again, Nina's a bit of a country bumpkin. She doesn't know what it is, and then she goes and sees the shining lights and the performance that's going on at the moment, and she's like, wow, I want to do that. That seems really, really cool. If I wanted to prove them that I wasn't wrong, and that my feelings weren't incorrect, and that I can perform, and that I'm defying my family for the right reasons, then a performance here would be that signifier that I have made it, I guess. And again, she's attracted to that. I do like here at this stage how much of Nina's motivation is strictly spiting Diamond Dust as well. I think we're not shying away from her being kind of a vindictive character, which again is kind of fun. Oh, then I really like this too. So, based on the rest of the episode, what would we say Momika is? She scares easily, and we have our raging bull over here that wants to go in immediately and tell her all about it, right? Let's tell her immediately. Let's call her and say we've got 2 extra members. Subaru, again, switched on, emotionally intelligent, socially smart. She's like, don't just tell her that immediately. She's like a wild animal. We can't scare her away. So again, now we have to introduce the idea of extra members to her slowly over a little bit of time. These two are also intelligent enough to at least intuit the thought that, hey, Momika, whenever we bring up going pro or any of that kind of stuff, she always shuts off a little bit. Again, trauma from the previous band. So hey, the major thing that's going to scare her is the goal of Budokan, right? She's not going to like that. So don't mention that. And again, you, Nina, don't get to call me, Subaru, a liar for what I'm about to do. Not telling her the entire truth. Again, kind of owning that liar persona that, again, it's like the acting stuff, we've talked about it. It's pretty cool. So again, very low commitment. We've committed to a jam session with Momika and the rest of the band one day next week or something, right? And again, not telling her the entire truth about how we've already fallen in love and we want to have these members in our band and all that kind of stuff is, whatever. She's a liar, whatever, who cares? But then, we get a little bit introspective here. Why does Momika think this, right? Well, I think there's 2 different Momikas. There's one when she's making music and she's serious and she's dedicated and all that kind of stuff, and then it's almost like she breaks out of the trance. And then she's like, oh, okay, I have to be an adult. I can't do this kind of stuff anymore every day. Something we bring up a little bit later as well is that Momika feels like, what's the thing? If you break up one band, the problem could be the band. If you break up 2 bands, then the problem's probably you. And you're the one that's, again, especially when the remnants of the first band went off and became super successful. So again, she's probably feeling some semblance of guilt there, not wanting to lead these girls astray as well, lead them on to something where she's eventually going to have to leave them and break their hearts all over again as well. So again, that's where a lot of the trepidation comes from. She's being a realist, but also she's being emotionally like, shit, I've done this already and it ended bad. She's closed off, Either way, Tom was like, don't care, didn't ask, is she going to join or not? what we're sure of is that Momoko respects musicians, so if we show her some good damn music, she'll want to join regardless, because she's passionate about the subject. It's a few days later, and we've sprung the trap for Momoko. We're going to, again, inspire her with our jam sessions. We've probably practiced in the meantime. Again, if we play well here, she'll want to get involved, at least in the short term. What we do find out here as well is that it turns out that Tomo is a huge fan of the TV show that Subaru's grandmother stars in. And again, would have potentially seen this episode as well, or when it airs, she's definitely going to see it, so she's going to find out about that, and then that kind of connection there. So we're caging off that initially, but this is something that's going to happen eventually. I just think it's very funny. It's also endearing for Tomo that she's super into this frankly uninteresting sounding show. I think that's a good character detail. And again, the way I understand the show, the kind of idea of crying at this kind of thing and like getting really invested is just completely foreign. So again, more power to you, I guess. I definitely like some cringy stuff too. Saving Subaru from any further scrutiny about her TV performance or her grandmother or anything is Momoko entering. I do like, again, nice Subaru character stuff. Jazzing it up. She's gassing up a former Diamond Dust member. Again, this seems appealing, right? We should all be a band together, right? Seems good, right? Again, trying to sell the whole endeavor. It's good. So again, just character framing stuff. Do you think that this looks like somebody that's really invested in what's going on with the band when she's conversing, literally facing away from everybody? Again, the stuff in the middle of the next episode makes a lot of sense with this context in mind. Then we have one of our trademark girls band cry, big euphoric moments, you know what I mean. Hey, the music's playing, there's colors flying everywhere. Wow, this is the sound of a full band. This is the sound of 4 different stories backing up my own, and it gives me the wherewithal to want to channel those emotions even harder. It feels even better with more people, I think, is the general feeling here from Nina. And again, kind of that rainbow and that mix of colors as the metaphor there is really apt. Again, all these different colors, all these different stories uniting into one beam. Big rainbow beam. So the whole idea here was to play good music and then put your kind of heart forward, right? Hey, these two, they actually want to join the band. So, hey, do you think that would be a good idea? If I want to try, do you think it would be a good idea? I don't know. Love this metaphor here as well. So again, upon asking that question, you go to strum your guitar, but you only strum halfway. Again, you're not quite feeling it yet. Nina continues to also say, I know your songs and your songs are good enough. And again, I don't think you have that confidence yet either. You can make something as good as that first song again. So from here, we also bring up the idea of a music festival. I think that's further down the line, and Diamond Dust is going to be in attendance as well. I think that's maybe where we're going directly after this. This music festival, where, again, we're going to try out this kind of 5-member structure until that point, where again, then we'll kind of reassess from there. How are we doing? Lots of scouts there. Are they going to scout us? All that kind of stuff. So again, music festival, you're tentatively, interested in performing at said festival with this group. But again, you've got the whole Diamond Dust thing on your mind. You've also got you kind of want to quit even now. How do I tell them? How do I not let them down? How do I get far enough in without kind of breaking their hearts like I broke Diamond Dust's heart as well? Yeah, again, interesting character here. And again, being in that situation where you're, again, going to be directly compared with that old group, yeah, we could see why Momoko feels the way she does. We time skip a little bit here, and the girls are got a little bit more of a rapport to them, I would say. And they're trying to sell merch, even though they don't have a band name. So this is one of the few things I would say that stands as a pretty conventional episode structure. So even previous episode, right, we brought up the idea of a band's goal as a plot point, right? As something that we need to figure out. What is our goal going to be? Is our goal to make it, per se? Is it to perform at Budokan? Is it to just make good music? What's the overall goal they're going to be? We don't really answer that question, and again, that leads to turmoil and drama. Here we have a very similar structure, right? We have, hey, what's our band name going to be? Why are we trying to sell merch when we don't even have a band name? That's a little bit stupid. And again, the idea of making that decision, finding that band name together, and that ultimately being that point by which Momoko doesn't want to be involved anymore. She kind of wants to leave this band before it even gains that sense of identity that it gets from a name. You know what I mean? Again, she doesn't want to get too close to be hurt again and hurt those people around her that she actually genuinely cares about too. But yeah, I bring up episode structure, right? Because we bring up band name here, and then we name the band by the end of the episode. I think that's pretty obvious. And again, that kind of I've decided scene that's around here in the episode, I would say, kind of being twofold. You've decided on what your future's going to be, but you've also decided on what that band name's going to be as well. And the decision there is that it doesn't matter. It can be anything, and our name doesn't matter. Instead, what matters is... it doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. Again, it's all about more about the emotions than general labels, I would say. If anything, you're label resistant. Again, framing, very important stuff. 3 younger characters over here, not in the bar, selling the merch, trying to do that side of it, while you're over here thinking about other things with your own peers, characters that are a little bit older, probably in the bar, in the drinking section, that kind of stuff. She's broadly distant from the rest of the group and is already probably making other plans elsewhere. Interesting. Now, I don't know if this is fans of Rupa from her previous music or fans of Rupa because we've done a little bit of a time skip and they like our band and they like her, or if they think that she's just hot. I don't know, but she's got a lot of fans. So that's cool. I'm her fan. I think Rupa's cool. Episode is called I'll Give It a Name. And yeah, as it turns out, when Momika was over in the other room there before, she was actually communicating with an old friend to go play a live show at a town, out of town, I think. Where is it? Someone who helped me out when I was starting out asked if I wanted to play. Where is it? Suwa in Nagano. So we're going to get our map out and have a little look here. Yeah, it's pretty far out of the way. So again, we've got Tokyo here, and if we zoom in, we've got Kawasaki, which is down here. So that's where they're coming from, and they're going over to Nagano, Suwa specifically. Seems to be by the water, Lake Suwa specifically. Also near Takashima Castle. Wow, we learn something new every day, folks. But yeah, that's a fair distance. Again, based on my own circumstances, not really. That country's pretty fucking big compared to this one. But it's a fair distance. This is a nice little road trip. I get the feeling that Momika knows exactly the right buttons to hit with Nina as well. Oh, you'll be busy studying, Nina, so you won't be able to go, so I might as well just go myself. Again, the idea here is that they need to put on some kind of performance for an old friend. So that's the general premise of the episode. So yeah, this isn't the festival that was mentioned in episode 6, the end there. That's still coming up, the one which Diamond Dust is going to be a part of as well. So again, this is just another little practice live show on the side, but again, Momika's also got the idea in her head already kind of that this is going to be her last show. Again, having that significance being next to that person that was so important to Momika when she was coming through as well. The other thing here as well, as we pan to the next scene, Tomo has like 2 different reptile pets. You have a little lizard and the snake. I guess those are the stickers that were on the picture before as well. But again, just recapping what's going on in the show as well. Hey, let's find a band name. That leads to a lot of comedy in the episode, trying to figure out what that band name is and the kind of disagreements there within, but also concern about Momika. She hasn't even addressed our talking about wanting to go pro. She hasn't even talked about it. So what does she think? Again, you refer to a Cold War over here. Again, something that will erupt at a certain point when certain information comes out. It's just kind of slow, secretive stuff at the moment, you know? Again, I'm trying to contrast this with other shows. How did K-On! Name the band again? I just think they kind of did it. It was very early in the show. I forget the specific scene there. And Keisoku Bando from Bocce the Rock, of course, was a stupid name that came through in the very first episode. I think it was a Nijika joint, I think. I think she's the one that put that together. And again, Keisoku Band, it's like elastic band. Shitty pun, basically. Shitty pun name for a band is very funny. I just feel like I've seen this kind of scene before, where we just try to name the band and it's all kind of embarrassing names before. Again, we end on the general moral that it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is what we say, you know? And again, there being a certain artfulness to that concept as well, I would say. The 3 of them, all of their names are just embarrassing too. We have Chocolate in katakana, apparently. Chocoleto, something like that. But yours is like Undine, or Undine, you know? Is that like the monster? Is that what that's based off of? Are you trying to be kind of nerdy in that regard? Weird. And then at the very end you have Dream Girl, which, no, sounds like a 80s soft rock group. I don't like that at all. And again, not befitting of the music they make, I would say. Ending the scene here, we have the 3 of them cringing it out. Again, we can't stand how cringy all of us are. And again, Rupa being that little bit older is just chuckling the entire time. Oh yeah, I forgot about this as well. Sister. So yeah, this is Suzune, who was on the phone in the first episode. She was being kind of a cunt in that first episode, so I guess she's better now. Again, it's weird. She seems way more level-headed when she's here in person, and we didn't just kind of run away on a whim. which I thought was kind of the vibe. And again, Nina here is really, really open. I think this is a lot of progress from where she was very early in the show. Again, very willing to tell her sister that she's pretty obsessed with a band. It's not a boy, it's a band instead. And again, sister is like interested. Do you have pictures? Yes, I do. Oh, you guys are pretty serious about this. Are you the vocalist? Again, she seems chill. Again, this seemed like a character that would come across broadly villainously from the first episode. That does not seem to be the case. Then we get to the reason as to why the sister's here, and again, the band thing now makes sense in her own head. Essentially, the cram schools contacted the family and said the grades had gone down somewhat. What's the go? What's the deal? Hey, can we improve this? That kind of thing, right? And again, the sister's pretty protective. She's pretty clutch. She came in lieu of the dad, who would have been a lot more harsh. And again, now that she's seen what's going on, and there's a band here, and, you know, hey, let's make a decision. What's going on? That kind of thing. Let's structure you up. So then it becomes, hey, what are you going to do? Are you just going to cut yourself off from the family now? We learn some crucial context here about the dad as well. Suzune thinks that dad was wrong, but we learn here as well that he was a revered enough teacher to have written about education. He's the writer of some of the textbooks, essentially, right? He's pretty important in that kind of space. So again, there is some element of disgrace of his daughter going in a drastically different direction based on his pedigree and his stature and reverence and all that kind of stuff. But again, the daughter's only a truant. You're only skipping school because they bullied you, right? But then Dad couldn't step in and say the bullying stuff because of his position as well. Dad's thinking here was kind of convoluted too now that I'm rereading it. They essentially wanted to blackmail the school because the school and Dad both knew that she was being bullied and that it was pretty bad and that it would affect the reputation of the school if what they did to his daughter came out. Like, that would be bad. And again, from a revered person in educating, right? They wanted to blackmail the school essentially to get her a good recommendation from the school to get into a good university. So, again, it's almost putting the daughter's education above her well-being in the moment, which isn't great and weird. Why wouldn't you just deal with the bullying? Anyway, weird. Again, Dad thought he had a plan, but again, Nina couldn't deal with it. But I guess it's also meant to show that, hey, you said that you would now go here and try to get an education your own way, do it without cheating per se, and now you're abandoning that as well. So all that Dad risked to do this for you, you're now betraying that and betraying the family in that kind of process. So again, it's slightly more sympathetic, but also, what the fuck? Why are you guys like evil? Just support your daughter? What's going on? Anyway, completely foreign concept to me. Again, it seems like there's this decision point coming up for Nina upon rewatching the episode, right? Hey, recommit to this college stuff, or hey, the band's literally about to go on tour and about to try to get scouted and go pro and that kind of stuff. You may not like it, but you may need to make a choice here at this point. Because again, very early in the morning, we're off on our little road trip. And we're telling her to pack as light as possible. Again, potentially you've done something like this before. Now, I wonder where this trope came from. Anime girl bad at driving? Where did that come from? I feel like I've seen that in a million things. The most hilarious of which being Azumanga Daioh, so shoutouts to that show. But yeah, you're kind of, especially with the manual transition car, we don't trust that. You're a bad driver, that kind of thing. Do a bunch of good gags here about doing votes in the car and hands up and that kind of stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Again, here ultimately voting for Rupert to become the driver as well. This joke kind of previewed in the ED as well. I kind of knew what direction we were going here. Again, maybe I'm squinting, but this is also some alienation for Momo this episode, or Momoka, I should say. Which again may speak to some larger themes. Just again, it's comedic in the moment, but this is also what's broadly going on in the rest of the show too. Yeah, I think I do underrate this show direction-wise. Even something as simple as this, just a bus passing them by, is a pretty good metaphor for what's going on in the rest of the show, you know? You've got these juggernauts next to you that already have so much more support, where again, we're a little bit more ramshackle, but also we're real in the moment. We're making like funny quips back and forth with each other. We're just building that rapport. And again, that'll hold us in better stead than more technology, so to say, from the bus perspective. Pretty cool. I will say the show's very fast. It tries to do a lot very quickly, and I don't really like this scene as a result. So again, we have Nina, who's broadly got her thing with other high school students and people in general like this because of her bullying. Fair enough. She shows hesitance to break through this kind of thing because it reminds her of one of the lowest points in her life. Fair enough. We also very briefly see Tomo there for but a moment, who is kind of car sick, leading to these two having a little bit of a moment here too. Again, there's a subtextual thing which I feel like you two are already aware of by the time this conversation starts, something which I don't think the show has established quite well. Again, making this scene hit a little bit less hard for me personally. Again, maybe a lot of this is implied through other dialogue that me as a non-Japanese speaker isn't getting the entire context about. Again, it makes these moments not hit as hard as they should. A quiet, somber, contemplative moment by two major characters here in the car all alone away from everybody else should be a highlight of the episode. For me, it's kind of a footnote. Again, I feel like it should feel more significant than this, you know? I guess it's on her mind based on the school bus, right? So again, that's what that bus was about as well. That's a school bus. So again, why did you quit school? Because I know offhand that you quit school as well, and I've quit school. So again, it's on the mind because of the people around her. Tomo here says that I didn't have time to waste there. My parents were never around, so I knew I'd be on my own after graduation. And then we get a little flashback here, and she witnesses her mother cheating on her dad with another man. Seeing something like that flipped a switch in me. It's not rare to see singers who are 18 or 20 years old these days, so now I wanted to immediately go off and pursue that on my own. So again, very similar to Nina in this regard. You have Tomo here who was disillusioned by school, didn't think it was doing much for her. Okay, at least I have what's going on at home for me, right? That kind of stuff. Oh, that isn't what I thought. They're not supporting me the way I think they are. At least my mother, in my own twisted mind, isn't married to my family the same way I am. Why should I be? Why aren't I going off and finding my own proverbial other man in this relationship too? Which again, is maybe psychoanalyzing a little bit too far, but I can kind of see it. And again, we're comparing here. Tomo immediately knew, hey, I want to be in a band. That's my one and only goal. Let's go and do that, right? I want to be a singer. Compared to you, Sugoi, that's what you say, right? You're impressed by her. I never even thought like that. Again, too trapped in by those expectations of your own family. Anybody would think the way that I did if they had nobody to rely on. So again, you're lucky in that way because your family was still around. And again, we drop some Rupa lore here as well. When Rupa lost her family in an accident, that's why she's the same way I am, right? She doesn't have anybody to rely on. She doesn't even have that network that I despise so much, you know? And again, we're kind of straight out of that moment. I think the kind of ideas that we're lacking context, and a lot of that's supposed to be surprising to us. Again, it doesn't hit the way it should for me. Again, by the very end of this scene, though, we're taking selfies and we're feeling better about it all, so that's nice. Again, we're able to bring together and feel better about things, which is cool. This picture's great, by the way. Lots of character. You can basically tell what each character's about based on the look in their face and how they're feeling about the current situation too. Again, even kind of car sick here, you can kind of see. Very quickly, we're actually in sewer and we're sleeping in the van, supposedly, which does not seem very comfortable at all. Before, again, we're off to practice for the show, which is tomorrow, I believe. We're practicing today. Great POV shot here from the drummer, who's at the very back of the stage and kind of observing the rest of the group. Hey, we're not in sync, and kind of Subaru can tell based on her perspective. Before, by the very end here, we learned that the camera here is a little bit more of a gag than anything else. Subaru's neck is bent based on the way that she slept, which is fun too. Again, feels like we're on fast forward a little bit. I don't remember this character's name off the top of my head, but she sees us performing and bickering and stuff. Oh, so this is your new group, Momo, right? That name Momo is instead of Momoka as well shows a little bit of a different connection, maybe to when she was a little bit younger and cuter too. And it's like, I don't hate what you're doing here, but it's a little bit weird for you, kind of doesn't like it for Momoka. And we've got the guitar here. This becomes relevant later on when we see the kind of flashback with you performing for Momoka, that kind of inspiring performance for her. As Momoka is to Nina, you are to Momoka. Even down to the point of writing on the back of the guitar as well, because got that diamond dust stick on the back of the guitar there, you know, kind of like the text on the other guitar. Yeah. Kind of see what they're doing there. And yeah, seeing this difference between how Momoka is with this person versus the rest of the group kind of gives us a little bit of an indicator of how much she's changed. Again, people tend to revert to their old selves around old acquaintances, I would say, you know. We then propose a jam session to which this character then performs a little song. Generally, I would say it's nostalgic in tone, growing up, stuff we've forgotten, that kind of stuff. Again, the music itself, we can kind of see visualized here, very soft and lovely and so forth. Contrast that with the kind of waveforms we get from Nina's music, and you can kind of see the difference there. But again, the lyrics would resonate a lot for Momoko as well. This was like that poignant moment for her where she got inspired, you know? And as we're kind of misty-eyed and you're thinking about that, right? It's a good song, huh? When I moved to Tokyo, I saw Mine's show, that's that name, and thought to myself, she was a bonus to the opening act, but she stood firm and fought with her song. Again, that resonant theme for you and your song and all of this versus Diamond Dust's song and that kind of stuff. And what she represented there was so very rock and roll. Like her character design too, for the record. Got a thing for glasses if you didn't know. But again, there's that bombshell. It'll be a perfect song to perform at my last show. It turns out that, hey, Momoko's out of the group. She's going to be quitting the group pretty soon, that kind of thing. Tomorrow's show will be my last. A few things I really like here. There's the pretty obvious one, which is the big old split frame. This took you off guard. It's torn your heart in two. All sorts of stuff. Just think about how important this song and Momoko's song in general is to Nina. Again, rips your heart out, that kind of stuff. The audio design here too. What are you talking about? That kind of dissonance to it, you know? It's not quite as clear as normal. It's not coming through. Again, it's like this really stressful moment that you can't quite even comprehend all your senses, right? You're just completely caught off guard. Momoko's justification here is that she doesn't feel like I can carry this band to go pro because the songs I make won't work on a professional level. Again, doesn't have faith in her songs. Again, that whole idea of being wrong and being proven wrong and that kind of thing, right? What she's doing now is admitting that the haters were right, which we know is very much anti to the overall thesis of the show, I would say. I'm happy that you guys like my songs, and I'm grateful that you've taken this seriously. Thank you, and there's no other side to that. She just kind of walks off. And again, are you okay with that? Yeah, I am. In grand contrast to previous episodes where it's been, are you okay with that? And it's gone into this big moment. She's very steadfast here. She's like, yeah, I am okay with that. Again, in contrast to like episode 1 per se. Now it's the night before the big performance, and our two that can drink alcohol are off drinking alcohol together, so they're having fun. Maybe a little bit too much fun. Again, you're almost celebrating because it's your last night, you know? You've kind of got that weight off your shoulder as well. And we have the girls over here at the kids' table per se. I do like what's left unsaid here as well. You're still sulking about it. You two have kind of gotten over it. Don't let this affect your performance tomorrow, Nina, right? Make sure you're still on song and that kind of stuff. But again, you feel way more strongly for Momoko than the rest of the group. The rest of the group will go on without her. You feel like you can't, you know? Again, that the importance of that song to her. And Mine, good people person, she's reading the room. Clearly Nina looks upset. Hey, this caught you off guard. Talk to me about it. Again, I'm your senpai. I'm kind of here for you, you know? And Subaru just always trying to avoid conflict. Always. Just because you're earth-shatteringly direct, so you're always going to ask questions that are so very attached to whatever's going on, where again, you'll put up a little bit of artifice to it, right? You'll try to gradually move to that point in the conversation. But again, we have Nina here. Have you ever thought about quitting music before to Mine? Mine here says that Momoko must not like coming to a conclusion. The longer you do something, the clearer the results may become. If you didn't go well the first time, you can chalk it up to bad luck, but each subsequent time, the problem becomes more and more with you. So again, Momoko sees the writing on the wall here and thinks that she's just going to fail again, so why even try? Again, losing faith in her own songs in the process. I don't want to drag somebody else's dream, somebody else that's that passionate about this, down as well. Why can't she believe it'll go well? Well, you know, she might on some level, but also if you have that faith, if you do believe and hope, it cuts even deeper when it doesn't work out, especially for somebody that's already done it too. Momoko's doing all this as a defense mechanism because she's scared. She loves music, and what if, again, this time, it proves that music doesn't love her back? Does that make any sense? Like, again, it would prove that she is inherently the problem and that whatever she does with music will be cursed forever. And she doesn't want to... So say it's like a card on a table, the answer's under it. She doesn't want to even peek under it. She'd rather leave that unknown, you know? And again, as we have the rest of the group here doing a drunken little escapade, we have an important conversation here between Mine and Nina. Mine, you ever scared? Well, yeah. Even now there are times when I lose my sleep or appetite based on what I do for my career. And again, that's only natural when you do something you love as a job. I thought about it when I was in music school, to become a teacher and sing as a hobby. That would be the smartest path. It most certainly would. So again, why didn't you do that? Why did you go towards performance? Well, you forgot already, you know? Maybe it's a little bit more of that youthful feeling, something that you can resonate with a little bit more. And specifically here, the stages where I can say whatever I want. This links pretty directly into the ending, where the stage is where she feels comfortable picking both a band name and a direction for her life. Again, saying that I'm going to quit college or quit cram school or whatever, and I'm going to focus on the band entirely. That's where I can say what I really, really want. She feels freedom on stage, and again, the freedom to project that truth, the truth that the rest of the members respect Nina for so very much. And again, very, very important scene here, leads to our dramatic kind of run-off and I've decided kind of scene that we have here in a moment. Again, probably underrated this scene in the moment. This reminds me a lot of, speaking of Juki Hanada joints, it reminds me a lot of kind of Kumiko's discoveries in Season 3 specifically, and this running scene here where she goes off and does her own thing here by herself instead of focusing on drunk old Momoko reminds me of the very, very famous running scene of Kumiko in Hibike Euphonium as well. Running towards the lake, running across the river, kind of very similar there. Again, take care of Momoko for me. I'm off to do my trademark Juki Hanada run off and be inspired type scene. Again, see Place Further Than the Universe if you want another example of this. Again, even framed very similarly, put up a picture of it here somewhere. Yeah, pretty cool. I missed in a very kind of musical motif kind of direction as well, like a stage musical. It's an I want scene. You know, you actually decided what you finally want to do with the show, and you're projecting it to the rest of the world. This also reminds me of the scene early in the show where you were singing without any, you know, barriers holding you back near the river. So again, those kind of bodies of water being very important there as well. Oh, specifically this being Lake Sewer as well. It must be. Yeah. My geography coming through too. But again, yeah, that kind of relief upon deciding per se as well. And again, using the performance here as the conduit to get that across. Oh, can't forget the fireworks coming off here as well. Fantastic. Oh, I love the shirts here as well. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Isn't that a motto to live by? We've also got a little bit of sticking the finger up to the haters going on too. Again, probably a little conversation between you two where you two kind of know what direction's going on now. Yeah, I definitely underrated you as a character. I think that scene there is quite poignant. Also, this piece of framing here is very, very good as well. We're again separated from the rest of the group, but in a good way now. You've got we get to talk about the band name, but you've got the inspiration now here to just kind of walk out on your own on stage, something that used to scare you so very much, being out on stage, kind of that episode 3 vibe, to just pick something for the name. You've got that, like, I don't care attitude to you now, which again, very rock and roll and very freeing, kind of that same nature that Mine was talking about with the stage. I think we're linking all that together pretty well. Again, just walks out on stage. Hello, everybody. Our name is... Then kind of spots a shirt over here, which says... Toganari. So I don't know what that is. Should I Google that potentially? Or put it in Jisho or something? I can't find out what it means. Is it nonsense? Maybe. You guys should let me know if it means something else, I guess. So I've explained it once already in the video, but this is just kind of that reckless abandon to it all, right? Doesn't matter what our name is. What matters is our truth, as opposed to everything else. And again, pairing this with this big revelation for Momoko as a character. This kind of lack of meaning in anything as well, almost as an opposite to this kind of educational motif to the other side of her, right? I don't need to find the meaning behind any of this. All I know is that it's kind of fun, and I got sucked in, and it's good, and it feels freeing, right? There's no kind of barriers there like there is in kind of structure in education. Again, it's just free form. Also, specifically talking about there's this song where I, you know, inspired me that I wasn't wrong and that I wanted to prove everybody else wrong as a result, and the camera's focus here on Momoko looking away from her. She can't even face this at this moment. Again, in a lot of ways she is running away, scared of what may come next. Specifically here shouting at all the band members and shouting that she wants to do this with Momoko as well. Again, including her in the band going forward. And then she gets fucking arsed in the back. I don't know about the arse shake here too. Kind of a nasty scene. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But again, it's that snap out of it to actually go into the performance that she needs. And again, despite it being a messy start, we jump right into the song and the performance here. Visually, I'd say it's very similar to the other performances thus far. A few little scenes cut in there as well. That kind of I want scene as I've talked about. Again, specific focus on Momika during some lyrics, which maybe you should spot as well. Lots of scenes from past episodes and so forth. And again, that kind of raging effect there as well, the kind of Super Saiyan type thing, almost encompassing the entire stage here. She's truly achieved the highest power level yet. And again, as I've talked about, ending the performance total with saying that she's quitting cram school, which seems so very important, specifically looking at Momika in that moment too. So yeah, but we'll have a look at the lyrics here too. I'm always full of scars, my body and mind are fragmented. Passion is heartless, it's all tattered inside my heart. I plunge into the city where it's full of lies, it makes me sick. Interesting. Full of lies, you say. Within the stench and the noise, I cry out alone. Nothing is happening. How was it today? Don't say meaningless things all the time. That creepy voice echoes in my mind while I can't stop crying. They don't quite flow together very well, but they're getting across a general sentiment, I guess I would say. Again, channeling the truth and the frustration through her lyrics is Nina pretty constantly. You don't have to be afraid, so stop hiding and come dance with me, you said, specifically focusing on Momika and Nina during this moment. I want to get away from this putrid world. Disperse right now. Disperse, quietly, don't let me be alone. Yeah. Definitely subtweeting the fuck out of Momika in this song, I would say, for sure. Subliminals everywhere. Like sorrow laid out in the bars of a song, forever and ever and ever until love can be proven. I don't want to believe that love is an emotion. I could go insane. And again, this song noticeably harder as well. Drums are going crazy. Probably one of the highlight of the performance there as well. Probably the hardest song. I would like this in episode 5 if I'm honest. A little bit, again, get those guitars roaring. What are you doing, Momika? And again, I've already talked about some of the visual elements here, kind of encompassing that entire emotion on the stage. This is her most true moment thus far. And again, as I've talked about, the big moment, the big reveal by the very end, and whatever that means from here, right? Again, demonstrating her commitment to the band going forward, looking directly at Momika here. If you're that committed, are you going to be that committed in turn? I'm going to... Yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see how Momika reacts to this based on what we've assessed about her through the rest of the video here today. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that more on the rewatch, which I generally do. And again, giving the episode some space there to actually think about what they're trying to say as well. Yeah, I ended up being more positive about this than I thought I would be. So, shout-outs, I guess. Next week, we'll do another couple. Patreon should be up. Oh, actually, no, it'll be pretty close to Christmas. I think, no, I'll get this one out. Next week, we may struggle. I'll say that. So, yeah. So, this one will come out. Next week should be fine. The week after that, we may struggle with Christmas and New Year's. But I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching, I guess. Patreon, as I said. Discord, like the video, subscribe, all that kind of shit. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Goodbye.